Hello everyone, welcome to Lessons with Philip. And today's topic is change of subject of formula. On the board I have some questions we need to solve together. Now basically there are no general methods that we can use to solve change of subject of formula, but I'll give you two major principles you need to employ to solve change of subject of formula. The first thing is to clear your fractions. You need to clear fractions. If there are fractions in the change of formula, you need to clear them. You need to remove brackets. You need to remove brackets. You need to remove roots. And you need to remove other signs. The other signs that can be present in change of formula are like multiplication signs. We have multiplication signs. We have multiplication signs. We have addition signs. We have subtraction signs, and so on and so forth. So all these signs, division signs also, you need to remove all the signs from a formula. Okay. Now, another principle you need to follow is to rearrange. We need to rearrange. We'll be using these two principles. You need to rearrange, whereby you have your requested formula at one side of the equation. So these are the two principles we generally use in solving any subject of formula. Okay, let's move on. Let's solve these questions on the board, and you see the way we employ solving a change of subject of formula. Number one, we have to make x the subject of formula in this equation. X plus a equals to b. I have to put my x in one side of the equation. Everything that is attached to that s must be removed. Okay, now what is attached to x is only plus a. So how do I remove plus a from this? The principle is, if what is attached to that x is by multiplication, you remove it by division. If it is attached by multiplication, that shows you remove it by division. If it is attached by positive, you remove it by subtraction. If it is attached by subtraction, you remove it by addition. Okay? That if it is joined, if it is attached by roots, you remove it by square. If it is square root, you remove it by square. Okay? If it is cube root, you remove it by cube. Okay? And so on and so forth. Okay? If it is fraction, you remove it by multiplications. So these are the principles we'll be using when we are solving our change of subject of formula. Take for instance, this example we have, x is attached by plus a. What am I going to do? I will subtract. Take note, when you are dealing with change of subject, whatever you do to the right hand side must be done to the left hand side. Okay? So if I say subtract a from both sides of the equation. So I have x plus a. Don't forget, this is what I have. So this is the equation I have. If I subtract a from both sides, plus a minus a will give me 0. So I have x equals to b minus a. Okay, do you get it now? So I have changed the subject of formula from x plus a equals to b to be x equals to b minus a, because I'm asked to make x the subject of formula. Let's go to number 2. Number 2 says we should make x the subject of formula when we have ax equals to b. This is just an introductory class to just introduce us to how we change the subject of formula. In my coming classes, I'll give you more examples. Okay, just follow me. The principles we use to make a subject of formula. Okay, now if you check this question, as equals to b. Okay, as a is attached to x by multiplication, what we have here is a times x equals to b. So if I want to remove this a from x, what will I do? Don't forget, if it is joined together by multiplication, I remove it by division. Okay, so if I want to remove a from this x, what will I do? Divide both sides by a. So automatically I have ax divided by a equals to b divided by a. So this a will cancel this a. So automatically I have my x equals to b over a. Do you get it? So let's go to the third example. For the third example, number 3, we're asked to make x the subject of formula when we have a into bracket b minus x equals to cx. If you check this question, you observe we have x at both sides. Now we are progressing. Now, the first thing we need to do is to clear, don't forget, we need to clear fractions, brackets, root, and other signs that is in the equation. What do we have that is attached to this x in this place? We have bracket. The first thing you need to do is to remove the bracket because your x, the subject you are asked to make, is in the bracket. So you need to expand, you need to open the bracket. So if I open the bracket here, I have a times b becomes ab, a times minus s becomes minus ax equals to cx. Okay, now I can now rearrange because I have x at both sides. If I rearrange my equation, I have ab equals to cx. I want to bring minus as to the other side of the equation. If minus as cross this equals to, it becomes plus ax. Okay, now these two, I can now factorize this side of the equation because both of them has x. So if I factorize the right hand side of the equation, if I factorize, I have my ab equals to x is common, so I bring x. If I remove x from this, what is left is 6. If I remove x from this side, it becomes plus a. If I still open the bracket, x multiplied by c will give me cs. X multiplied by plus a will give me as. Okay? So now you see my x standing on its own as a multiplication factor to c plus a. So if I want to remove this c plus a from this x, what will I do? Don't forget, they are joined together by multiplication. What will I use to separate them? Division. Okay? If it is joined together by division, you remove it by multiplication. If it is joined together by multiplication, you remove them by what? By division. Okay? Take note. Don't forget. Take note. So what will I say? Divide both sides by the bracket, which is c plus a. So if I divide both sides by c plus a, I have my ab divided by c plus a equals to x into bracket c plus a, all divided by c plus a. Don't forget, this is a multiplication, so this one can cancel this. So I'm left with my x. So my ab, which is divided by c plus a equals to x. Take note, when you're asked to make a subject of formula, let your subject be at the left hand side of the equation. So I can rearrange and say x equals to ab all divided by c plus a. Okay? Now let's go to the last example. Example 4. Question 4. We have to make s the subject of formula when we have square root of x divided by 2 equals to a. In this kind of question, you observe that two things are attached to x. We have 2, we have roots. Okay? Now, in the principle, you have to remove what is attached to x and attached to others. Okay? Now, in this case, you can't remove 2 because this root also affects the 2. So you have to first remove the root first. Remove the coverage so that you can deal with the fraction. Okay? So I have to remove the coverage, which is the root. If I want to remove the root, don't forget, I've told you when you have square root, if you want to remove it, you do what? You remove it by square. Okay? So if I want to remove this root, what will I do? I will say square both sides of the equation. If I square both sides of the equation, this x over 2 all squared equals to a squared. Let me bring in a method here. Our knowledge of indices. Don't forget, this square root is the same thing as x over 2 all raised to power half. The law of indices we explained last in our previous videos. So this square root is the same thing as power half. So if I'm still now squaring this, that shows half times 2 is what? Will be 1. Okay, so if I'm squaring it, that shows this is half times 2. So don't forget, in the law of indices, when you have two powers, they are joined together by multiplication. So half times 2 will give me 1. Half times 2, okay? 2 cancel 2, that will be 1, okay? So that is why I'm removing it by square. So if it is cube root, I'll remove it by cube, okay? So if I remove this, automatically, so this square is cancelling this square root, okay? So I have my x over 2 equals to a squared. Another thing is joined together to x. One is joined to x again. This is a fraction of 2. Okay, so if I want to remove this fraction, what will I do? I will say multiply both sides by 2. Okay, if I have 2 multiplied by x over 2 equals to 2 multiplied by a squared. So this 2 will cancel this 2. So I'm left with my x equals to 2 times a squared will give me 2a squared. And that will be our final answer. These are the principles we use to solve change of subject of formula, or these are the ways we can change the subject of formula. In my coming videos, you will understand better when we expand this topic. Kindly follow my videos by liking and share, subscribe, and this will be an appreciation to me. Thank you. See you in my next video. Bye.